Don't quit until it's time to quit. It's the title. About Cigar Guy Travelers Rest, South Carolina, and this is the Umbagog Bronze back from Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. And I'm going to tell you, we're talking about this cigar. Don't quit till it's time to quit. Well, it ain't time to quit till it's about right there when your fingers are blistered and burning. You've had to stick it with a screwdriver or whatever to be able to smoke it down, maybe even jam it in your pipe, because you don't want to miss any bit of this. That's for sure. Delicious, delightful, and that's right, the lovely. That's not what I'm talking about. Real fast. I'm not going to take up a lot of your time, I hope. Y'all know I work at the car mill, Greenville, South Carolina. Greer, South Carolina. Been there now going on 15 years. When I first started there, I was in rework. I fixed the cars as a contractor. And I saw these people that were higher up. They fix cars, but they fix special cars. They're actually called SVO, Special Vehicles Operations. You actually had a big wall surrounding it, and you had to take your special magic badge, and you had to boop go in. You couldn't get in there without somebody taking you in there with clearance. You had to have clearance. I mean, it's the top secret stuff of the car manufacturing place. Cars that ain't come out yet, they're working on them. Stuff for magazines and movies and videos and everything. They're making them for the press people when they do news releases. That's what they do. And I told myself, I said, boy, howdy, I want to be that one day. I want to work hard. And I was just a contractor. You got to work as a contractor for years. I had to work for 7 years. Then you got to get hired on. Then you got to work forever. And then there's only like 50 people in that group. That's it. Out of a plant of over 13,000, there's 50 people. And you better be good, because those people don't quit. Those people die there. They retire from that job. Once you get there, you go nowhere else, because there is no more places up for a regular old blue-collar feller or lady. And you want to be there. You get to travel all over the world. Go to racetracks. And I wanted to do it. And I set a plan. I did. My plan was to work as a contractor, bust my tail, which I did, get hired by the company, which I did. I'd spent some time at the performance center, the race car school, owned by the company as well. I had a good setup. And so when I went to get hired, they hired me to do rework, to keep fixing mechanic and cars. My plan took a long time, but it was coming to fruition. And then it got flipped upside down. When you get hired on, they send you a night shift. It stinks. They sent me to a different hall, assembly hall, where I had to build different cars with a whole different group of people. This is irritating. And I got in there, and I rolled up my sleeves, and I went to work, and I made a name for myself. Well, not 2 months in, there was a need at the plant for people to work on adjusting doors and hatches and this and that on the line, a regular line job called body adjust. It didn't matter to me, except there was a new guy in charge of that plant, and he goes, you know what I want? I want good people there. I want these people that are going to work, that know what they're doing, so we can get this problem fixed. So they said, we want somebody from rework, and we want somebody from the door line, which is where they build the doors. We want somebody from another area, and we want them to take that job. And so I was set up in rework, but I was the last one on. Last one on, first one off. So they sent me to the line. Cars come down that line about every 70 seconds. 400 cars a night. Fast. You're on a treadmill of cars. You only got about 30 feet to work in. So you work the car, you go back, you get the next car, you work the car, go back. Get it. There's people all over the place. It was an awful job. It was a hard, not awful. It was a very difficult job. It was not a job for a person of mature age that had been doing rework, because the line for them youngins, because it's rough. It is. It's hard work. And so they had me in there. And my job, all day, every day, was to grab the bottom of the front doors, because the doors weren't, the robot didn't put them on exactly perfect. And so I had to adjust the doors. And by adjusting the doors, that don't sound bad, right? No, it doesn't, of course, until I tell you. To adjust the doors, I had to grab the bottom of the back edge of the front doors, each side, each car, and snatch up on them until the hinges said a little pop. And straightened it out just a little bit. Moved it about 3/8 of an inch. Every day. All day. Eventually, my arm started to hurt. It got really bad. I told my boss, and he goes, it'll be all right. I said, all right. I'll keep working until you tell me to stop. Well, come one fateful night that I pull on the door, and the door don't give, but my shoulder does. Pull my bicep out of my bone. In 2 spots, had to have it anchored back in. Had to get my collarbone shaved off. I had to get my rotator cuff walled out. I was down for a year. It was rough. That SVO, that was going away. I got back to work, and they started rotating me in positions. And one of the positions they put me on, which I had to take some bolts off each door, and I had to put some latches on the car so the door would shut, and I had to do all these other things, and it was very, very difficult. You only had about 15 feet per car, and cars come every 70 seconds, and it took me 90 seconds to do my job because I just wasn't fast enough. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't. The young guys were like, come on, Bob, let's go. Come on, Bob, let's go. And I had been doing this for a couple nights, and I was getting tired of it. And I knew SVO was out of my picture. I was stuck on the line for the rest of my life, another 20 years. I was dreading that. And it just got me one day. Good fellers. I still love them to this day. I still tell this joke, this story, whenever we're around. I tell them, y'all almost made me leave. And I said, but y'all made me stick with it. And y'all kept, you were giving me a hard time, just as fellers do. Young fellers telling an old feller, come on, Bob, quit being so slow. And just my pride and my ego got bent and bruised up a little bit. I told myself I was going to quit that night. Name of this show is what? Don't quit till it's time to quit, right? And I ain't got quit in me. Quit is hard for me. Way beyond when I should quit, I'm going to quit. I hate quitting. And I said, it's the first quarter of the day, I said, I'm going to do this for one more hour and I'm going to quit. That hour came. And I said, okay, it's time to quit. And I said, well, I'm going to do 5 more cars, I'm going to quit. Those 5 came, those 5 went, and I said, I'm going to do 5 more cars. That was one of the longest nights of my life. One of them. I got to a point where I was saying, I'm going to do 1 more door, and I'm going to quit. I did that all day long, all night long. And I made it through that night. And then I got faster, and it got easier, and I was able to keep up. I was able to have a little 10-second break between each car. But I was ready to quit. I kept telling myself, it's almost time to quit. 1 more door, then we'll quit. 1 more door, then we'll quit. So I left there, and they moved me over to body shop, where I was working in the shop building the actual bodies where the robots would weld them together and stuff like that. I was there. It was better than the line. Not by much, but it was better than the line. I was good there. I did all right. But there was no way I was ever getting back to SVO. Then there was a posting for rework on night shift. And everybody wants to get off the line and go to rework. And my clock number was high. That means my hire on number was high. And so people that have lower hire on numbers have a real good chance of getting it. But I had earned my stripes. And the bosses that worked there when I was working a rework way back when in the beginning are now in upper management, and they remember my work ethic. They remember the work I did. And they said, all right. So I got a shot. And I got an interview. I did good. I got the job. So now I'm back to rework. I said, well, I never go to SVO, but at least I'm not on the line. Working night shifts, didn't think I was ever going to days. Finally, a day spot opened up. I went to days. I was a specialist now. I was working on all the glasses glued into the cars. It was really good. Life was all right. I carved me a spot. Well, then the boss man said, hey, the guy at that other plant, he's retiring. We need you to go up there. We need you to do his job. It's in rework. It's doing glass, but I had never done glass on those cars. I got up there. That guy retired. I didn't have anybody train me. So I kind of had to learn it on my own. Brand new systems, brand new cars, brand new people, brand new place. I was like, I don't know if this is worth it anymore. I want to quit. I don't like it. I said, give it one more week. Pay's good. Benefits good. I'm working towards retirement. But I was tired. And then there was a job posting for SVO. That job that I wanted at the very beginning. And I said, there's no chance I'm going to get it. But I got to apply. 13,000 people in this plant want that job. There's only 4 or 5 jobs. Those ain't good odds. But I'm going to apply. So I did. And wouldn't you know I got that job? The job I've been dreaming about working in that plant since I got at that plant. My end game, where I wanted to retire from. I got 9 more years, 8 more years. I get to travel around the world. I get to train people on how to build new cars. I'll learn it before they do so I can come back and teach them. I get to deal with those cars and all those racetracks and press photo passes and all that other stuff. I get to have a special card to get in. I actually get to go to a school to learn how to do high-speed testing, vehicle testing. I got to get a special license to be able to drive fast. How cool is that? If I wouldn't have told myself one more door 6 years ago, I wouldn't be here today. So the title of this was going to be Never Give Up. I started thinking about it. It's not true. There are times in life where we should give up. When the juice ain't worth the squeeze, when you're hurting yourself more by trying to... Everybody has to have a stopping point, and you need to know your stopping point. But I'll tell you, where you think you should stop, you probably need to take a couple steps more. Unless you're being abused, you're being mistreated, you start to have feelings of self-harm, you just can't stand it, then I highly recommend you say, I'm dead, I got to find something else. But if it never gets to that point, one more door. One more door. One more door. I'm shooting this on a Wednesday. Drops on this Sunday. I start work at SVO on Monday. So, don't quit until it's time to quit. And know this, I ain't going to quit on this Umbagog bronzeback, and I ain't going to quit on you, because I know you're awesome. I know you make the world a difference. You do. You do. So, stay in the fight. Keep being you, and I'll see you later. Later, Tater.